a line out the door on weekends, a write-up in the local paper, people calling ahead to reserve pies for the holidays. And Sarah was there for every single one of them, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, doing everything herself because nobody else could do it the way she did. And then one morning, she didn't get up. In 1973, a woman named Sarah opened a pie shop. She made the best pies in town. Everyone said so. Her neighbors said so. The people who drove 40 minutes out of their way to get one said so. Sarah had a gift, a real one, and for the first year, the shop was everything she had dreamed of. She was there every morning before the sun came up. She mixed the dough herself, she chose the fruit herself, and she crimped every edge herself because she absolutely knew, that the moment someone else did it, it wouldn't be right. The shop grew, a line out the door on weekends, a write-up in the local paper, people calling ahead to reserve pies for the holidays. And Sarah was there for every single one of them, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, doing everything herself because nobody else could do it the way she did. And then one morning, she didn't get up. Not because she was sick or because she had something go wrong, she just couldn't. She lay there staring at the ceiling and realized she didn't want to go in. Not that day or the next day, and maybe not ever again. The woman who had built the most successful pie shop in town had built herself a prison, and she was the only one with the key. Sarah's story really isn't about pies. It's about what happens when the person who is the best at the thing becomes the only person who does the thing. This story comes from a book called The E-Myth, revisited by Michael Gerber. And if you've read it, you already know where I'm going. And if you haven't, stay with me. Gerber called it the fatal assumption. The fatal assumption is this: if you understand the technical work of a business, if you can bake the pies, write the code, close the sale, run the job, you understand the business that does that work. That assumption kills more businesses than bad markets ever will. Sarah was a world-class pie maker. She was a first-time business owner, and she ran her business like a craftsman, not like an operator. She never built the system. She never trained anyone. She never documented what made her pies right so someone else could protect that standard in her absence. She just did it every day herself until she couldn't anymore. Sarah didn't fail because she wasn't talented enough. She failed because she was too talented. And she used that talent as a reason to never build anything beyond herself. I see this inside companies every single week. The founder who is the best salesperson, so they never build a sales process. The operator who can solve any problem, so problems never get solved without them. The CEO who makes the best decisions, so the team stops making decisions at all. The talent becomes the ceiling. Your job as the founder is not to be the best at the work. Your job is to build the system that produces the work at the standard you require, without requiring you to be there for every piece of it. That means 3 things. 1, document the standard, not just the task. Sarah could have written down what made a great pie, the ratios, the temperature, the texture of the dough before it's ready, the specific things she looked for that told her this is right. That document would have let someone else protect what she cared about without her hands having to be on it every time. See, most founders never write this down because they carry it in their head and call it quality control. But it's not quality control, it's a single point of failure. 2, train to the standard before you need the person. Sarah's mistake wasn't that she didn't hire, it was that she didn't develop. Hiring gives you a body in the seat. Developing gives you someone who can protect the standard in your absence. You develop by bringing someone alongside you and before you need them. Not in a crisis, not when you're drowning, before. And 3, step back before you're ready. Sarah waited until she was ready to let go. And that moment never came because the longer you hold everything, the more the business needs you to hold everything. You have to step back before it feels safe. And that's not recklessness, it's just how the system and the people actually develop. We saw the exact same pattern this week inside one of our companies. The owner, incredibly talented operator, built something real from nothing, and his founder was completely unable to step away because every important decision still ran through him. And it wasn't that his team couldn't handle it, because the real thing was he'd never given them the system that would actually let them. We didn't fix it by hiring someone new. We fixed it by documenting 3 core decisions that he was making daily and transferring the authority clearly, formally, and with a scorecard to the people that were already in the room. Within 2 weeks, things were moving without him. Not perfectly, but they were moving. And that imperfect movement, with him out of the way, is worth 10 times more than perfect movement with him in the middle of everything. Sarah never got there, but you still can. The E-Myth is one of the most important books ever written. And the reason it still lands 40 years later is because Sarah's story is still happening. So the 3 things: document the standard, not just the task. Develop someone to the standard before you desperately need them. And step back before it feels safe, because that is the only way it actually works. And if this hit close to home, share it with another founder who needs to hear it. And make sure you subscribe, because next week I'm gonna tell you a story about a man who was working himself to the edge, and the answer that was sitting right in front of him the whole time. He just couldn't see it.